Maybe you're thinking about joining the military, or maybe you're just curious about what the day-to-day differences are between military life and civilian life. In this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 differences between military life and civilian life so that if you are thinking about joining, you can make a better informed decision. Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Noel. Thank you for tuning into my channel. So top 5 differences between military life and civilian life. Probably the biggest difference between military life and civilian life is that military members move a lot. If you're an officer, you can expect to move homes every couple of years. Enlisted tend to stay in one duty location a little bit longer than officers, but really it's just location specific. In terms of where we move, we have military installations all over the world. So of course you can be stationed somewhere in the United States, but it's certainly not outside of the realm of possibilities that a service member can also be stationed overseas for multiple consecutive assignments. In the civilian world, usually you figure out where you want to live and you find a job in that geographic location. So maybe if you want to stay close to your parents or stay in the same neighborhood so that your children can grow up in the same school system, you can easily make that choice. In the military, you go where you're assigned and you move pretty frequently. Now, at first blush, that may seem a little bit off-putting, constantly moving and never really knowing where you're going to be assigned next. But I think it really is just a matter of perspective. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. For example, like I said, we do have military bases all over the world, and you don't stay at one place for very long. So let's say you've always been curious about what it's like to live near the beaches in Florida, or live in the mountains of Colorado, or the desert in Arizona, or in Alaska. Or maybe you're curious about what it would be like to live overseas in a completely foreign culture like Japan, or Korea, where I just came from, or Italy, or the UK, where I'm stationed now. In the military, you have the ability to live in all of these different places throughout your career. And if you find that you don't really mix well with the environment or the culture where you've been assigned, it's really not a big deal because you'll be leaving soon. So it's really just a matter of perspective. On the one hand, as a civilian, you get to choose where you live and you have consistency and control. On the other hand, as a military member, you have the ability to live all over the world. The second biggest difference between military life and civilian life is that in the military, fitness is a major component of our jobs. And when I say it's a component of our jobs, I mean that we're actually given time during the duty day to be able to go work out. So go to the gym, go for a run, whatever it may be that you do to maintain your physical fitness, you're given time during your work hours to actually get that done. I know in the civilian world, a lot of people look at our fitness standards as sort of intimidating, but again, I think it's just a matter of perspective. It really does not have to be. Because fitness is such a major component of our jobs, no matter what your career field is, just across the board, I think there is an overwhelmingly supportive community to try to help people reach their goals. So for instance, if you've never run a marathon before, but that's a goal of yours, or even a half marathon, it's not going to be difficult for you to find somebody in your unit to run that marathon with you and cheer you on along the way. Or maybe you have certain weight loss goals. You will definitely be able to find people in your unit who will go to the gym with you just to work out side by side with you and help push you along. So I really don't think that in the military we use fitness standards as a way to tear people down. I think just the opposite is true actually. We use it to hold people to higher personal standards. Again, there's a clear difference between military life and civilian life on this aspect too. In the civilian world, most jobs don't have any type of fitness standard that you have to meet. Generally, you go to work and you do your job and nobody's going to take out some measuring tape and take your waistline or time you on how fast you run 1.5 miles. The third major difference is that the military is a lifestyle. It is not simply a career choice. We are on duty 24/7 and we can be held accountable for our actions at all hours of the day, whether it's during work hours or after work hours. So good order and discipline is something that we have to observe at all times, as well as respect for chain of command. In the civilian world, you go to work and while you're at your job, your supervisor has some say over what you can and cannot do. But once you leave your job, then your time is your time. And if you don't like your job or if you don't like your boss, that's fine because you have the option to quit whenever you want to. That does not exist in the military. There is no such thing as quitting the military. We have a word for that. It's called desertion. In the military, if your supervisor gives you an order, so long as it is a lawful order, you're going to obey your order. So I'd say on that point, as a civilian, you have a lot more freedom and choice is much more of a reality to you, as is your ability to say no. Difference number 4. Now, with all of that said, in the military, you get a lot more perks than you would probably get in the civilian world. So in the civilian world, you get certain employee benefits like healthcare for yourself and your dependents and a 401k plan, things like that. But in the military, you get all of that too, plus a lot of lifestyle perks. Fully covered healthcare for you and your dependents. Loads of free services like financial planning, free tax prep every year, whatever counseling services you may need to take advantage of, education benefits like tuition assistance for advanced degrees, student loan repayment incentives, discounted rates at the base commissary, the base exchange, and the base gas station, discounted rates on guided tours or outdoor experiences, plus just about everything that you need from banks to childcare facilities to the gym to the commissary to the gas station to medical services. Literally just about everything that you need exists on base, which just makes it super convenient. The 5th biggest difference is the sense of community that military members have amongst one another. I think this is true regardless of what branch you served in or even when you served or where you served. And I think that's because so many things in the military are standardized across the board in terms of the experiences that people have. And so we're able to connect with each other on that type of experiential level in ways that basically moot those other differences. Also, it may be related to a certain mentality that military members across the board have that allows us to put ourselves in harm's way to protect one another. I don't think you find that type of bond, especially that type of bond being able to exist among complete strangers in most civilian jobs. I think the exception would be for civilian jobs that put you in physical danger. So for instance, a police officer or a firefighter, I could see them having that sort of bond with one another. Or jobs that physically move you to a different country and put you outside of your comfort zone, like as a foreign service officer working for the Department of State, something like that. I can see people developing that type of bond with one another in those types of jobs as well. But again, I think the one thing that ties all of these jobs together is that the people who are working these jobs share a very standardized and very impactful experience that physically and mentally puts them outside of their comfort zone. But outside of those types of jobs, I think it's very difficult for civilians to be able to understand the depth of the bond that military members are able to share with each other. So those are the top 5 differences that I've observed between military life and civilian life. If you like this video, if you learned something new, if you got anything from this video, please make sure to hit that like button down below. It helps me to know that this information that I'm providing is actually useful. Also, I post new content every week, so please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well so that you don't miss my next uploads. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you.